on, everybody? I know it's been a hot minute. I know. I just been doing here and there tweaks on this thing right here. I'm trying to get everything right, guys. I would bore you guys if I was showing you pinion angle adjustments a million freaking times. Currently, I'm actually setting the pinion angle at -1. I had it at -1.5, and it's pretty damn smooth. It doesn't get any weird stuff on acceleration as of yet. I want to try to go a little bit lower though, because at like 100 plus, it gets a very, very slight drivetrain vibration. Very, very slight. Like when I'm saying slight, I mean like very, very minor. So I'm hoping going down another ½ degree will clear that completely up. And hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully it's smooth as silk over 100, and hopefully we're good on acceleration too. Pinion angle, for you guys that don't know, a lot of the times with I have all polyurethane bushings in the back, a lot of the times you want like 1 to 2 degrees pinion angle down further than your engine. So my engine's currently sitting at 2.5 degrees negative, like towards the back of the car, it's angled down. So in a perfect world where the pinion didn't want to jump up under acceleration, you would want 2.5 degrees up to match your motor down, so the drivetrain would all be parallel, perfectly in line. The problem that you have is when you're under a hard acceleration, the pinion actually wants to jump upward. So right now I'm pretty much trying to figure out how much my pinion actually wants to jump upward. The best I can get it to being parallel without getting vibrations under acceleration. So it's just a lot of guess and checking. Honestly, if it's good at -1 and it still gets a slight vibe over 100, I'm going to try a ½ degree negative. But I definitely don't want to put it perfectly in line. So we might get the best case scenario at what it's at right now, -1.5. We might get the best case scenario at 1. We might get the best case scenario at ½ degree. You really don't know. It's kind of different for every car. Every car is going to flex differently. Bushing brands, control arms, everything is going to be different. Power level, all that type of stuff. Even your gear choice could honestly change that. But this right here is what I want to tell you guys about. So I'll show you guys where this lives and what the hell this thing is. This right here is a fuel pump resistor. Now this thing was supposed to be turned off in my tune, which I quickly found out it wasn't. This is literally, all this is just a big resistor. That's all this is. One wire in, one wire out. These cars use a 2-speed fuel pump. So what the computer will do is when you're at idle, and I think it's like 3,200 RPMs and lower, your fuel pump's on like a low speed. Now, I figured that was turned off in my tune, which it wasn't, because I have an adjustable fuel pressure regulator right there. So I really don't need that anymore. And I do believe that was actually failing, because when I would start this car up, like a cold start, the RPMs would come up as normal. But as soon as they dropped down, the car would be like, and then come back up. Almost like it wasn't getting the proper amount of fuel. Kind of weird, right? Well, I took this car out the other night and I ripped on it like pretty heavily. And I noticed that I was getting a backfire in between watt shifts. So like at redline, I would shift from say second to third. It would backfire really bad, almost as if I had my watt box back in here, but I don't. And my AFR gauge is currently not reading right because the sensor's bad, so I couldn't really see what was going on, and I really don't want to damage the old trusty 4-valve over here, because this ain't a cheap motor. So I started thinking to myself, I was like, well, maybe it's these Excel coils, because I had a lot of tuners tell me in the past they don't want to touch the car with Excel coils. Okay, so I was thinking maybe it's those. But then I started thinking about it, and I remember this car having a 2-speed fuel pump. But I didn't know how the factory did that. I didn't know if they controlled that with the ECU or if it was something actually on the car. So I did find out that is only controlled by a resistor, which lives right up in here. Obviously, if you have a stock front end, you're not going to be able to seat this like this. You're going to have to take your wheel off and liner. But it bolts right up in here. And actually, the wires are right here for that. All I did was cut that resistor out and connect those 2 wires, bypassing the resistor completely. So now our fuel pump is getting full voltage all the time, running at max. which is honestly what we want. Now, if you have an adjustable regulator, then you're good to go. You're good to do this. But if you have the stock regulator, I don't know if I would do this, guys, because the stock regulator is not designed to work like that. It's designed to work with that. So you just keep that in mind. I have a base map fuel pressure of 42 PSI, which is pretty good for like aftermarket, like mods and everything. This car has bigger injectors, a bigger pump. So 42 should be fine. That's with vacuum line off. We see about 34, I want to say, at idle with vacuum line on. So right where it should be, no issue there. This car has a Walbro 255 in it. And I was reading into that also. And you really don't want to run that resistor with an aftermarket pump either. So I ripped on it like, I don't know, maybe 3 times since I've deleted that resistor. And I'm still getting like a weird pop in between shifts at wide open throttle, but it's not falling on its face afterwards anymore. So I'm thinking either maybe that's normal for my really obnoxiously loud exhaust. Maybe it's just something to do with the exhaust. Or we either have possibly, I guess it could be getting a weak pump. This pump's been in here for a while, but I don't believe that is my case. I have good fuel pressure and everything. I'm leaning more towards coils, plugs, and wires. I'm going to put a set of Motorcraft coils back on this car just for my sake, and I do want to get this car back on the dyno and get a proper tune from Wicked Motorsports, which they're located down the shore. I want them to tune the car for me, so I'm going to put the Motorcraft OEM coils back on this car. We'll probably do a Ford Performance 9mm wire. I'll do red, and we'll do our normal NGK TR55s. And hopefully, if that pop is not my exhaust, hopefully it clears up. I do need to get a new wideband sensor for the O2 sensor, so that I'm going to order pretty soon, and we'll see what's going on. If it's fuel related, I'm going to see that on the AFR gauge, and then I'm going to instantly know, okay, we need to look at the fuel side of things. We have something weird going on here. But it's just kind of weird that taking that resistor out cleared up the falling on its face after the shift. Like when it would pop, it would fall on its face. Now it doesn't do that. It stays pretty strong after the shift. It's just I'm not very fond of that pop because, well, without a watt box, it never used to do that. So it's just something that I'm thinking about. I really don't know, but I don't want to damage the engine. That is like the main thing. I don't want to damage the engine, and it sucks because the only way that I can get it to do it, find out if it's going to do it or not, is to rip on the car. And ripping on a car with a possible fuel problem is not something that you really want to be doing, because if this thing runs lean, it's a factory motor, guys. It's not really going to tolerate too much detonation or anything. So something to think about. Definitely something to think about. But I just wanted to do a quick update for you guys because I have been MIA for a very, very long time. So I just wanted to let you guys know what was going on and where we're at. I'm trying to get this car ready. I would like to go to the track this year, but who the hell knows at this point. But we'll see. At the worst case scenario, we're going to get a draggy, and we'll do some videos with that, and we'll kind of figure out what the car's going to run on the track. Should be pretty cool. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please drop a like on this video, drop a comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.